Here's an amazing story for you folks. A life-saving surgery ended up being a life-altering experience. He was just shy of 4 years old when he went in for emergency surgery. He slipped out of consciousness, and that's when he says he entered into heaven. He met people he never knew, like his grandfather. Colton Burpo and his father, Todd, that is, highlight this remarkable experience in the new book, Heaven is for Real.
I was looking right at Jesus.
That's right, Colton, their 11-year-old, has been to heaven. It all started when Colton was 4 with a near tragedy. After 17 days in the hospital, Colton emerged, but he was different. He began speaking about things he couldn't possibly know about. His mother's miscarriage, his father's prayers, and a visit with his great-grandfather, Pop. It all led to this book, Heaven is for Real. Todd, Sonia, and Colton Burpo are with us now. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Colton, I want to talk to you in a second, but let me talk to you first, Todd, and get this right out of the way. People are going to say, this is a pastor.
Yes.
This is a believer. This is a man of the cloth. He wants desperately to believe this, and he wants others to believe it, and that's why this story is out there. How do you respond to people like that?
Well, at first, we were surprised. We doubted ourselves. We never anticipated to talk to our son about these things. And what caught my attention, or what grabbed mine, is when he could tell me where I was while he was in surgery. The surgeon couldn't tell me that.
And you asked him how he knew that, and he said, because I could see you. I was sitting, I think he even said, I was sitting in Jesus' lap as you were doing all these things. So you were cynical, both of you, a little bit at first, until you started to hear these things. I think a question a lot of people would like to ask you, Colton, is what did heaven itself look like? I mean, is it the way I talk about it to my kids? Is it above the clouds? Does everybody float? What's it like?
Well, there's a lot of colors. There are a lot of people and a lot of animals.
You know, I think the story that's going to get a lot of people's attention, Sonia and Todd, is the story he told. He came back and he met the child that you had miscarried, and that was a couple of years earlier. Mm-hmm. Had you ever told him about that incident?
Mm-hmm. Not at all. Not at all. Well, I think for us, like when he told us about his sister in heaven, that we hadn't told him about, another one of those holy cow moments, okay, that, okay, he can't make this up, he can't invent this, no memory was planted.
Todd, Colton, Sonia, thank you all very much. The book is called Heaven is for Real.
The bottles bursted, and immediately he leaped up with a broken bottle and began to stab at me. I lifted my left arm to try to stop the blow, and the bottle actually severed the biceps muscle, the major arteries in my arm, and I was bleeding to death in just a matter of seconds. And I was so weak. But he said, "Sir, you need Jesus Christ." And I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know what he was talking about. So my reaction to that was to begin cursing. And people inside of this burning place screaming and crying. They were burning, but they weren't burning up. They weren't being consumed. But the most terrible part of it, I began to recognize many of the people that I was seeing in these flames. As if a close-up lens on a camera was bringing their faces close to me, I could see their features and see the agony and the pain and the frustration. And a number of them began to call my name and said, "Ronnie, don't come to this place. There's no way out. There's no escape. If you come here, there's no way out."
I died and I went to hell. I was in a car wreck and we flipped 17 times on I-5. And during the flipping of the truck, my right hand was broken off of me. So when I got there and seen, you know, this place that I was in, I had a change of heart. This was a mistake. What am I doing here? And, you know, just having that feeling come over, this is a mistake, Lord. You made a mistake. I ain't supposed to be down here. You know, Lord, I was a good person. You know, and I could think all the stuff that I did, but that wasn't what saves you. What saves you is to confess and to believe in Jesus Christ. That's what makes you saved, and to live according to what he has done. I was not living according to what he wrote. But yet I knew You know what I'm saying? But yet my actions were different from what I knew. So my actions is the truth and what led me there.
The airplane did the pre-flight checkup. We took off. We were going, probably 100 miles an hour, maybe 100, 150 feet in the air. And the first thing I remember is the pilot yelled and slapped me on the side and said, "That's it, we're going down. We lost our engine." But I, in fact, lived through the night and the next day, and my spirit sat up in my body, and my spirit was ejected from my body. And I went into a realm that I understand now to be the second heaven. And instantly I knew, see, time was gone, and I was aware of eternity. And it's the most profound thing in the world. I could feel something on my right side, and I looked, and literally I saw this. I could see and feel and taste the nature of this thing that was closing, and it was black. It was blacker than black, and it was a bottomless pit without a bottom. And it was closing, and the more it closed in front of me, the more I felt the nature of it. It's the separation of all life. There's no experience. There's no matter. There's no chance of changing anything.
No reversal.
No reversal. It's irreversible, eternal separation. It's more horrible and terrifying and hopeless than I can describe in any human terms. It was, I screamed in my spirit, "God, I'm sorry, I want to live, give me another chance." And instantly, I was standing in the presence, in the throne room of Almighty God. Instantaneously, I knew I would never die for eternity. Simultaneously with that, I was bathed and baptized in the undiluted love of God the Father. Now, I can't say that in words that do it justice. Funny thing is, when I came back, it was so bizarre because my spirit, I could feel myself literally traveling from the third heaven through the second heaven, through the earth's atmosphere, and feel my spirit press into my body. And I could hear out of these ears and see the ceiling out of the eye that wasn't blind. If you don't know God, believe me, you need to know the living God. He created you for a purpose, and it's not just to hang around this earth. It's brief, whether it's 19 years, it's been 19 years, I'm 57 now, whether I live to be 100 or not, it's like that compared to eternity. But what you do now, you can choose to know and love God.